One of the things that I found most fascinating when I started going into your work was the idea that the Ark of the Covenant exists in Ethiopia.
That's what brought me into this field. Before that, I wrote all about current affairs.
When you go into the history of these people that lived there, and they all suffered radiation poisoning, and it's like, wait a minute.
Cataracts over their eyes.
Yeah.
And let's not forget that there's an indigenous population of Old Testament Jews in Ethiopia, right. The Falashas, who have their own story about how the Ark of the Covenant got there.
Right.
Different from the Ethiopian national epic, which is called the Kebra Nagast, the glory of kings. And I just kept on coming across this story, and I realized it was central to Ethiopian culture. And I decided to investigate it and explore it, and it led to The Sign and the Seal, which was published in 1992, and that's what set me on the path to Fingerprints of the Gods and everything that followed that.
So who is getting the cataracts?
The guardian of the Ark. This is a monk who is appointed. The place is Aksum in the province of Tigray in northern Ethiopia. It's a massively interesting place. Aksum has these huge granite stelae. They're very similar in many ways to ancient Egyptian obelisks. They're a bit different in shape, but same sort of height, some of them going 110 feet high, cut out of solid granite, right up there in the highlands of Ethiopia. And then they have an ancient church, the Church of St. Mary, cathedral actually of St. Mary of Zion, where the Ark apparently was kept for hundreds and hundreds of years. Before that it was kept elsewhere, and then now it's been moved into a chapel that stands next to St. Mary of Zion Cathedral. And that chapel is guarded by armed men. The whole town is an armed camp that is protecting what they believe to be the Ark of the Covenant, but it's guarded particularly by one guy who is the official guardian of the Ark, and he's elected by other monks to be the guardian of the Ark, and several of them have run away when they get that election, because once you're elected as the guardian of the Ark, when the previous one has died, you're going to be kept in that chapel forever. You'll never be allowed to leave it. So they're close to whatever this object is. They're close to it. And I met 3 of them over a succession of years, because their mortality is once they're appointed, they die very soon. And they all had these cataracts over their eyes, and they all blamed the object in that chapel, whether or not it's the Ark, for causing their blindness.
Wow.
So it's
and no one is going in there and trying to get to the bottom of it. They won't let you.
They won't let you. They won't let you. And
can you bribe them?
No.
It seems like someone should go look.
Yeah.
What the hell is that?
Yeah.
What's in there? I mean, if we really find out the Ark of the Covenant was an actual object.
I think it was an actual object.
And you think it was some nuclear something or another? Like,
I don't know what it was. I think it's what is rightly described as an out-of-place artifact. Because if you look at the description in the book of Exodus, the very precise dimensions of it, I think in modern terms we'd say 3 feet 9 inches long by 2 feet 3 inches high and wide. It's got a layer of gold, it's got a layer of wood, it's got another layer of gold. It's very precisely specified, like a blueprint in the book of Exodus. And then it does all this stuff. It shoots out jets of fire and kills completely innocent people. It kills 50,000 Philistines in the city of Ashdod when they briefly capture it from the Israelites and make the mistake of treating it like a tourist object, and they open the Ark of the Covenant and look inside, and suddenly everybody in that city is dying, and what they're dying of is cancerous tumors. This is described in the Old Testament. So it's intriguing that this object is so precisely specified and is reported to have done these terrible things.
Yeah. And so 3 different people you talked to have cataracts from that.
Yeah, and wow. they all blame the Ark, and one of them, it's a resonant phrase which sticks in my memory. I asked him why, and he said the Ark is a thing of fire. Just that.
Did he describe it to you?
He did describe it as a box, rather like the biblical description, unsurprisingly. But
did he describe what it looked like the outside of it?
Gold.
Gold.
Mm-hmm. Gold. The fascinating thing is that Ethiopia is the only country in the world that actually claims to have the Ark of the Covenant.
So the Easter Island, these enormous statues, one of the things they found in, I don't know when they started doing this, they dug deeper and deeper and deeper and found out that the heads that are above the surface are just a tiny part of it. So do you think that it's just natural erosion that covered up everything else?
No.
You think it was purposely?
I think it's a very complicated issue. The the issue of erosion, it's not so much erosion, it's the deposition of sediment. And you can see that the dark bit is the bit that was above ground. And then they dig down and they find that it goes down 30 feet underground. If this thing is only 700 years old, which is something that archaeologists often say, 700 or 1,000 years old, if it's only that old, how do you get 30 feet of sedimentation on this tiny island in just 700 years?
Has anybody speculated about how much time it would take to cover those Easter Island statues with sediment?
Thousands of years.
Thousands.
In Shock's view, yeah.
Thousands
of years. Yeah.
30 feet of dirt.
Remember, it's a small island.
Right.
It's in the middle of the Pacific Ocean.
Right.
It's 2,000 miles from Tahiti and 2,000 miles from the coast of Peru.
It just seems strange that there's so many of those statues in this one area, too. Like, what did
Hundreds
that
of them.
island
Hundreds of
signify? Like, why did they do that?
It's only a theory that these multiple navels of the Earth around the world were fixed points on the Earth where longitude connections were made. They were established places. So I do not think it's an accident that Angkor Wat is 72 degrees of longitude east of Giza, because that number 72 occurs in ancient myths all around the world and is strongly connected to this phenomenon called precession of the equinoxes. The fact that the relationship of the Great Pyramid to the Earth being on the scale of 1 to 43,200 is interesting. If it was on the scale of 1 to 57,000, I couldn't care less. But 43,200 is one of those numbers that we find in mythology and traditions all around the world. So when I find that the Great Pyramid models the Earth on a scale of 1 to 43,200, which is 72 times 600, I wake up and I think this is interesting. And when I find that Angkor, one navel of the Earth, is separated from Giza, another navel of the Earth, by 72 degrees of longitude, that rings another bell. And I think that's something curious and worthy of exploration.